What's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in, and tonight I'm going to be making some predictions on what we could see in an upcoming Nintendo Direct. Thought I'd try the glasses tonight, but apparently it gives off a bad glare, so you know what? I'm just going to take them off. I thought I'd try the glasses, but nope, all I'm doing is just kind of looking back at myself. So anyway, tonight I'm going to be making my picks and predictions of what we could be seeing in a Nintendo Direct. Might be next week, it could be leaning towards week after. Different sources say different things, so it's up in the air. It's really up in the air on what we could get for Nintendo Direct. I mean, some of the insiders are saying we're getting one next week, sometime during the week of February 6th. But there's other possibilities that could lean into the week after. So, after the Super Bowl. But before we get into all the fun stuff, here's where you guys can find this video and all of my others on the platforms. So, you can find me on Twitter at WillYork_23, Twitch Tuxedo28, and YouTube Will York. You guys can also hit me up on Discord, Facebook. You can find me on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and the Epic Games Store. Always in need of friends, followers, so feel free to like, share, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff. It's good for me, and it keeps you guys in the loop too as well. So, let's go ahead and get right into the predictions. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go and do a deep dive right into it. So, here are my predictions for possible February 2023 Nintendo Direct predictions. And I was working on this last night a little bit. Didn't take me long to work through it. But I kind of thought, I was thinking, gotta think of stuff that's most likely to be announced in the Direct. So I thought, well, maybe do a little follow-up. What was the last announced on the, what was on the last one? What could happen on the last one, and maybe transfer that to this one, which I think this is most likely. I think this is very, very likely. And also add some new stuff as well. It is 2023, and we don't have much of a blueprint on what's coming as of what the later portion of this year is. We know some of the games that have already been announced for 2023. Fire Emblem Engage, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Tears of the Kingdom, and Pikmin 4. Those are some of the... Octopath Traveler 2 is another one. Just to name a couple of first-party ones, but we don't know what they're going to be like, we got release dates. We got Fire Emblem Engage out a couple of weeks ago. We got that about over 2 weeks ago. We got Pikmin 4 slated to be released this year. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe comes out in less than 3 weeks. Octopath Traveler 2 comes out. I don't know this one off the top of my head. I'm not into the RPGs. The other Switch exclusive is Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Dragon. That comes out in March. And then Tears of the Kingdom comes out in May. So, but we don't know when Pikmin 4 is coming out. So, the fact that we're getting Pikmin 4 and not a release date, which I think that translates to late 2023. So, and it's a possibility. Pikmin 4 was in the last Nintendo Direct, but was not given a release date. It was not given a release date, and so I think this one could be towards the middle of the year. And the other interesting thing about this is that apparently, according to the rumors, Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox are not going to be at E3 this year. So, why are we having E3 now? What's the purpose of E3 now? Wasn't E3 designed to, promote the big three? The big three companies. Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. The big three. That's why they call it E3. Because you got your big three, and they show off all their big stuff during this event, during the summer. But now they're not going to be there, which is, they're doing their own thing. Nintendo's got the Directs. Sony's got their state of plays. And Microsoft's still working on something. I think they had a developers direct a couple weeks ago. The thing is, Nintendo built the Direct you can't perfect the Direct. That's all I'm going to say. You can't perfect the Direct because only one can perfect the Direct, and that's Nintendo. The people who brought it on. So, anyway, let's go ahead and look at these. Again, these are all taking some thought. This is like what we've had previously announced, and which I think had a little bit of what's yet to be announced. So I think we're going to focus more on what's been announced and now not to put a lot of emphasis into what is yet to come. So let's start with the one that's been really been getting a lot of traction lately, and that's the Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp release date. Of course, this was supposed to be released last year in April, but due to world events involving Russia and Ukraine, Nintendo decided to delay the release because of that. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to play a game involving tanks and weapons when you got two countries going at war with each other. I don't think you want to play during that time. But now there's lots of news and speculation saying we could be getting it out really soon. Some say it could be shadow drop next week. That's some of the rumors that I've read about. But it all hides up to the possibility that we could be getting a Direct. There was also some recent, I think, online pre-orders up on other country websites, not only for Tears of the Kingdom, but Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp was one of those. So I think it's likely we will get this game announced in a Nintendo Direct. Again, some of the insiders are saying we could be getting the Direct next week. But the thing about that is also next week, there's an investors meeting taking place on February 7th, which, they talk about, what they got planned, what they got coming out, and how are they going to roll that out. But it doesn't make, from what I've heard, it doesn't make much sense to put a Direct during that week. It doesn't make much sense. But overall, not business-wise, it doesn't make sense to put your interest of investors meeting in the middle of a week for a Direct. I think, honestly, if we're going to get a Direct, it's going to be after this investors meeting. So a thing to keep in mind is that the investors meeting is next week on February 7th. But a lot of insiders are saying we're getting the Direct next week. Take what the insiders say with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. They have inside knowledge, but they're not right 100% of the time. They're only making speculations, just like what I'm doing. So, anyway, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, of course, they're remakes of the beloved Game Boy games, remakes of those, and those have been delayed due to the war in Ukraine, but now we can finally get those. Again, like I've mentioned, there was a recent pre-order up on, I think it was Spain. I think it was on either that or Europe's eShop. That was been up recently, so it's a possibility we could be getting this soon. And I saw another headline, another thing that comes soon. Apparently a Walmart employee has come out and saying they got display boarding for this game. And the display boarding says available now or out right now. So leads to the possibility that this could be a shadow drop thing, and I think this could either come next week. The Direct makes sense. If they do a Direct next week, kind of makes sense for Advance Wars 1 and 2, because there's times like Nintendo had in the past has released games like 2 weeks from each other. Like, you release one game, and then 2 weeks later, you release another game. Another game comes out later this month, and that's Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So that comes out on the 24th. This coming Friday is the 10th, which is 2 weeks prior to that game. I just don't see Nintendo would be interested in putting two first-party games like back-to-back weeks. I think they like to kind of space it out a little bit. Why we get one big Switch game release a month, like we just had Fire Emblem Engage in January, and now we're gonna get Kirby in February. Honestly, if I had to make a prediction on this, I think Advance Wars Reboot 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, I think that's going to get an April release because we really don't have anything big and major planned for April. And this game was supposed to release in April of last year. This was supposed to release. But we are now actually approaching that 1 year mark of the when the war started. So we are approaching that 1-year anniversary. So anyway, like I said, I think this is going to be guaranteed. We will see Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp in this possible direct. I think we're really going to see that. I think the release date is going to be in April, just so you can get your one big Switch game, big first party game out of the way. You drop that each month. We had Fire Emblem Engage last month. We're getting Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe this month. Bayonetta Origins, Sarazu and the Lost Dragon. That comes out in March. Nothing for April. And May will be Tears of the Kingdom. So, that's my takes on that. And then, well, while we're waiting on these other 2023 games to be released, we got a lot of DLC. There's a lot of DLC coming for some of the games that came out last year. So, next, as my second one up, is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC. Of course, there is supposed to be some... they are having... I think there's going to be more DLC coming out, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was a big hit among the JRPG fans. Big hit of that. I mean, such big hit. It was nominated for Game of the Year from Game Awards. Of course, Nintendo has only won that award once, and that was for Breath of the Wild back in 2017. So, but the thing is, they nominate one first-party Nintendo game, and last year was Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So, anyway, and of course, a lot of the DLC includes, you know, bonuses like outfits, moves, mechanics. I think there was a character that's dropped. I don't know much about this game. I'm not really into JRPGs, not as much. That's not my cup of tea. The only RPGs I'm interested is Pokemon. So, anyway, do I think we're going to get some DLC information? Oh, you bet. I imagine Nintendo's going to keep going on with this for as long as they can. And then the one I think we're really going to get, and of course a lot of people have been harping on them for not doing much promotional. We are about 3 months away from the game's release, and I'm talking about Tears of the Kingdom. I think we're going to get some details, a gameplay. The possibility is I would say it would get mentioned, and then Nintendo's going to be like, oh, during the end of March, we're going to do a Tears of the Kingdom Direct, where we lay out everything in the game. Makes a lot of sense. They like to split up the games. You know, they like to mention a game in the direct, and like, we'll have more information later here. That way people, they know, they can inform people what we got on the table. Here's what we're going to do about it. Here's how we're going to present it. And here's how you can watch. Simple as that. I mean, they've done directs for Animal Crossing, Xenoblade Chronicles, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Smash Brothers. They do, so just do a specific game-focused direct. I think that's the more likely option, especially since we are about 3 months away from the release of this game. And there's been no signs. They have not said that the game's been delayed. You know, a lot of people were wondering, like, man, May? That's a long ways away. You're right. It is. I mean, it is about 3 months away. It's still a good amount of time. But, I honestly think we could get some details. I'd say if we get a lot of details for this game in this direct, it might take up a good chunk of it. Not a super big chunk, because where else are you going to fit the room for the other stuff, you know? So, anyway, I think Tears of the Kingdom will probably get showed up in this direct, but I think I'm leaning on more likely we're going to have a Tears of the Kingdom direct, and that will take place like later in March or in early April, about a month or so before the game's release. That's just how I see it right there. And then, next one, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Of course, Nintendo's going to push out people to get this game. This is a remake of the game on Wii. And they also got new costumes, new modes, all sorts of cool stuff. Not really, I like Kirby, but I'm not really into Kirby as much. But I like the fact Nintendo's put a lot of emphasis into Kirby in the last couple of years. I mean, how many people here can name a lot of the Kirby games that have released on Switch? Kirby Star Allies, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Dream Buffet, just to name a bunch. I'm like, it feels like with every console Nintendo releases, they always focus on always a certain character. I think the Wii U was focused a lot on Zelda, because, or the Wii and Wii U was focused a lot on Zelda, because you had Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD. Yeah, I think the Wii and Wii U focus a lot on Zelda, and Switch has focused a lot on Kirby. So, that's just how I see it, is like the Switch is the Kirby console. So, anyway, I think we're going to see a little final push from Nintendo saying, go get this game, go spend your money on this game. So yeah, I think Kirby's Return to Dreamland is going to get a final push for that. Pikmin 4 details, late 2023 release date. This is one of my tops for this year, is Pikmin 4. I've played 3 Deluxe. I would love to play 1 and 2. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is really good. It was one of my favorites. I really need to get back into that one. If you don't know me, I have like a huge catalog of so many different games, and not enough time to actually do it. Busy working all the time. So anyway, I think we might get some details. Late 2023 release. I think that's the more latter, because again, during the September Direct, Nintendo officially announced Pikmin 4, but they didn't give a release date. It just said 2023. So, out of all those games announced for 2023, it was the only one that did not get a release date. So, I think this Direct could actually announce the release period for Pikmin 4. And of course, the interesting thing about Pikmin 4 this time, well, lots of interesting things. One, it's been in development for over 10 years, and now it's finally coming out this year, so Pikmin fans are happy. And 2, we get a new angle from the Pikmin point of view, which is really interesting. I'm like, okay, I could definitely see that, and it kind of looks more leveled out than when you're, arched down, looking down on them, like how I'm looking down at you. It's going to be more like you're looking at that same level, which is, I think, is really interesting. The great thing about Pikmin is that it's a numbers game. It is. You just got to have some certain amount of Pikmin to defeat enemies and collect your items. So, do I think Pikmin 4 is going to be making an appearance in this Direct? I think so. And then, let's see, second row, Fire Emblem Engage DLC information. That's a given. They've already released, I think they've released a DLC already. DLC character set already, and I think they're going to have more. And the interesting thing about Fire Emblem Engage is that they're bringing back a lot of characters from the previous games. If I had to make the prediction on who's coming up, character-wise, I think we're going to get Corrin. I forget what Fire Emblem it is, but I think Corrin's going to be the new one. Or maybe Ike. I'm just throwing 2 characters from Smash Bros. Who, would make sense. So you already got Roy and Martha's engaged, and they released 3 Houses characters already. So, it could be Ike from, I think, I'm sorry, I don't know my Fire Emblem very well. Don't know it very well. But I do think we will be getting some DLC information for Fire Emblem Engage. I think that's going to happen. Splatfest for Splatoon 3, of course, a lot of people love the Splatfest. I've never played Splatoon, never have, and I actually got no interest in it. But I think they're going to release details for a Splatfest information. Of course, a lot of people like those. They like Splatoon, so awesome. I think that's going to get announced in this Direct. Super Mario Bros. Movie, going to get an extra clip. I think this is more likely. And the fact that there's also supposed to be a new trailer shown during the Super Bowl, from what I've heard and read, there's going to be a new trailer for it. And it is one of the most highly anticipated movies of this calendar year. I can't wait for this movie. This movie looks so good. Looks so great. I'm pumped for it. As a huge gamer, as a huge Mario fan, I am pumped for this game, or for this movie. I really am. And there was rumors, people are saying that there's going to be a game released based on the movie. I mean, it would be pretty cool. But I just think Nintendo's going to, if they use a Nintendo Direct, use the moment to shine the spotlight on the movie. I mean, they used a Direct for to announce the casting back in 2021, and also to they also did their own movie Direct, so that's pretty cool. But if they do a new clip or something like that, or a new trailer, they'll probably do their own Direct for that. I would imagine so. Next up, the next set of games announced for Nintendo Switch Online. I feel like that's possible. Last year we got the Earthbound games on Switch Online, which a lot of people have been wanting for quite some time. I'm not Earthbound, never played it, but I know there's a lot of people who love the Earthbound series. They like Mother 3. Of course, Mother 3 has never gotten an official US release, so the only way you can play Mother 3 is if you have a Japanese copy, or there's a ROM hack for English version of Mother 3. So, anyway, I think it's possible what we could see more games coming to Nintendo Switch Online. My best guess, if there had to be a big one that has to drop for Switch Online, Super Mario RPG for the SNES. I've enjoyed playing the game. I played the game a little bit. I've enjoyed it. I think it's a highly likely Nintendo and Square Enix, who back then was Squaresoft. Nintendo and Square Enix have a great partnership with each other, and I mean, why not put the game on Switch Online? Why not? You know, I mean, make it available for the fans who love the JRPG style of Mario, and you also get the special Square Enix characters of Mallow and Geno. So I think it's possible we could see. That's my pick of what Switch games could get announced for Nintendo Switch Online. Of course, we could also see a release for what comes out in maybe for March. I mean, for Nintendo 64 Online, because they've been doing the little slow drip, like one new release a month. And last month, actually about a week ago, we got GoldenEye on Switch, and a lot of people were hyped and excited. It came out on Switch, it came out on Xbox, and of course the Switch is, I mean, they never really did anything graphic. Gosh, it's kind of hard for me to talk. I've never played GoldenEye. I've heard it's a really good first-person shooter, but I've heard it's one of the best on the Nintendo 64. The Switch gets the online player mode, Xbox doesn't. Xbox gets the 4K resolution. So there's like differences between both versions, but it's supposed to bring back that nostalgic feeling. You know, when you come home from school, you put in GoldenEye and you boot up the 64, and you just spend the day away playing with your friends. So anyway, I think we probably get to see some games coming out on Nintendo Switch Online. As for new consoles, I don't think so. I think a September Direct will announce that, as they have for the last couple of years. Back in 2018 when the service started, 2019 when it expanded to SNES, and in 2021 is when they added 64 and Sega Genesis. But as for like adding new consoles and stuff, I think this could be the year they do it. They might have to do it in I would say September, announce that. My best guess would be Game Boy, because that has been rumored that they were testing out emulator. You know, the Nintendo European Research and Development was testing out Game Boy emulation on Nintendo Switch Online. So, possibility we could get that maybe announced this year, but I think it's too early to start thinking about adding new consoles, and especially since Nintendo is still working on adding games to the Nintendo 64 online library, like Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Mario Party 3, just to name a couple. So, next up, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. There is a 3-layer plan for DLC, and the first one is supposed to be due out in early 2023, so I think this one's going to be a given. They are going to announce that. And of course, the end of the DLC will bring back Rayman into the game, which is crazy. Like, people have been wanting Rayman back for a long time, because, I mean, A lot of there is a little bit of history between Rayman and the Rabbids. Back in the mid 2000s, there was a game called Raven Rabbids, and of course that introduced us to the Rabbids characters, and now the Rabbids characters have gotten popular, but you kind of let your star out of it. You kind of left them out. So, and it's interesting, you get to see him team up with Mario, which is even crazy. Like, a lot of people wanted him for Smash Brothers. A lot of people did. I would have thought it was cool, but seeing Rayman in the same area with Mario is going to be pretty crazy. It's going to be really, really crazy. But I think that part's going to be in for, like, later down the roads. But I do think we are going to get our first glimpse of Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. They did say it's supposed to be announced or supposed to be released early in the year. Next up, Bayonetta Origins, Sarasa, and the Last Dragon. Sorry if I kept saying Lost Dragon. Details, of course we're going to get details. We only got a glimpse of gameplay and story from the Game Awards when they first announced it and announced the release date. I think we're going to get some more details and information about it, and especially since the game comes out in March. So, interesting, we'll probably see about that. Next, the obvious given. Oh, there you go. Didn't snap it loud enough. Anyway, the Nintendo Switch Finger Snap, given. Free Spot, given. MLB The Show 23 gameplay footage. I think we're going to see a little bit of that. It's just one of those extra games that would, I'd say, would make an appearance. And of course, they did announce the cover athlete last week, Jazz Chisholm from the Miami Marlins, which I thought, that's really interesting. You picked a player from a bad team. Like, the Miami Marlins were one of the worst teams in the league last year. But the fact is, we're getting MLB The Show 23 on Switch, and it's the second year in a row that we will get MLB The Show on Nintendo Switch. And if you don't know what it is, it's one of the best baseball simulator games out there. For years, it was been on PlayStation exclusively. Then in 2021, they released on Xbox for the first time, and last year they put it on Switch for the first time ever. I really like what some of these companies are doing to bring some of their big sports games to other consoles. Like, since PlayStation is doing, since they own the rights to the MLB games, since they do that, they brought it to Xbox and Switch. And 2K does the they do the NBA, and they've always done a great job with putting their games on Nintendo Switch and all the consoles. The one thing 2K has done step back recently is their WWE games. I know when Switch first launched, they put 2 of their WWE games on the Switch, and that was back when they were getting not so good reviews because of the graphics and the issues and the technicalities of it. But now they kind of taken a step back with that. Now they don't do Switch on WWE 2K anymore. They don't do it anymore. They're now focused on the next gen console. So the PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox Series XS, and still with the One. So anyway, that's a side note. So I think we're going to get some MLB The Show 23. Plus, we also managed to get some the MLB The Show 22 last year in a Nintendo Direct when they announced it. Whoops, I did not change that last one on the right. Gosh, I did not change that one. So what would I have to put for that? I didn't think about this before I started my stream. Trying to think. I wonder if I got time to... Let me see if I can fix this real quick. You're not going to see it right away. Let's see what I can do right here. I know some of you guys are watching, trying to think of what would be a good one to fill that third one from the right. I forgot about the I forgot about that one when I made my top one. If anyone's got suggestions, ideas, I might actually have an idea, and this would be a good one. I think it kind of talks in a little bit about, where I talked about the Switch Online stuff. Give me just a moment. There we go. That's called live editing, folks. Anyway, yep. I'll kind of touch up a little bit. Nintendo GameCube for Nintendo Switch Online. For one, I didn't change that one. That's my bad. But it actually makes kind of sense to get Nintendo GameCube on Switch Online. We have the GameCube controllers, thanks to Smash Bros. We got those, and we also got, we got Super Mario Sunshine on Switch, part of the 3D All-Stars. And honestly, I think Nintendo just needs to touch them up a little bit, make them compatible with Switch, get them going. Not to mention, GameCube's over 20 years old, and there's a lot of great games on the GameCube that have not seen a re-release. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is one of them. And that's a game that I really want to give a try and, try playing. So, I don't think we're actually going to get the GameCube for Switch Online, but never hurts to dream. Never hurts to dream. And then, looking at the fourth row, first one down, obviously, I think this one's a given, just a mini trailer game shown. I think that's always a given. Minecraft Legends, they just announced this. I'm not into Minecraft, not really. I tried it once for like 20 minutes and I just couldn't get it. Minecraft Legends, of course, it is an Xbox property, but they've shared that property throughout all the other consoles. So I think we're gonna get that. An unexpected Switch port. It could be anything Switch report. It could be anything you don't expect seeing or coming to Nintendo Switch. So it could be lots of possibilities. I think my most unexpected would be unexpected Switch port. I want to go with a game from Rockstar. And the thing is, Rockstar doesn't do a lot of Switch stuff. They have not developed a lot of games for Switch. They have all they've done is LA Noire and the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition. That's all they've done. I think, honestly, if Rockstar wanted to put a game on Nintendo Switch, I got a couple ideas what could be announced. My top pick would be Bully, either Normal Edition or Scholarship Edition. Thing about Scholarship Edition, it adds extra missions, extra classes, extra missions, and I've actually enjoyed playing Scholarship Edition, and the graphics look good too. Graphics look pretty good in the Scholarship Edition. I'd be okay with Normal Edition too. The thing is, Normal Edition's on PlayStation, and you can play Scholarship Edition through the Xbox 360 version on Xbox. But other than that, it's also on Steam Deck too. It's also on Steam. But that would be my most likely, Switch port. And just doing the Scholarship Edition wouldn't be too bad. You just have to change up the, controls, and also get rid of the Wii graphics. But overall, I'd say that'd be my most unexpected Switch port. Of course, there's other ones from Rockstar that could get the unexpected Switch port. Grand Theft Auto 5, of course, that game's been out 10 years. It'll be out 10 years. And it's seen a lot of releases on new-gen consoles. I mean, this game was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, for crying out loud. That just tells you how old Grand Theft Auto 5 really is. I mean, there's the rumors they're working on 6, and the 6 is, Anyway, from what I've heard, they're working on 6. But, I mean, if you put Grand Theft Auto 5 on Switch, that'd be great. There were also rumors about Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 getting worked in with the Switch. There was rumors on that, and of course, then the rumors also died down saying that they quit those so they could focus on Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm like, why can't the Switch people just enjoy the Rockstar games as well? Why not? Why, you know? But that's not my call. That's not my call. So, anyway, I would say my unexpected Switch port would be a Rockstar game. Excuse me. One last announcement. That one's a given. Hollow Knight Silksong gets released in 2023. Of course, out of all the games out there, people are asking the most about is, when are we going to get Hollow Knight Silksong? When are we going to get that? And of course, there really hasn't been a whole lot of news, I believe, since 2021. There hasn't been a whole lot of either 2019 or 2021. I forget which one. But it is one of the most requested games out there. Like, when are we getting information? You know, when's this coming out? Like, you guys had all this time to work on that. I don't know for myself, but it is a popular title, and possibility with it being a Nintendo Direct, I think it's possible we could see some information about Hollow Knight Silksong. New game demonstration, I think that's a given. I mean, they're willing to give out try out new, show off how does this game work? How does this game work? What's the features here? I think that's a given. Octopath Traveler 2, I believe it comes out. I'm trying to remember. I believe it comes out either later this month or it's either later this month or sorry, I'm just looking up, see when Octopath Traveler 2 comes out. Just kind of doing a little quick. Okay, February 24th. So we're less than 2 weeks out from that game as well. I could see Nintendo can do a final push on that. They did release a lot of details about it during the September Direct, so there's not a lot to go over. So I imagine it's going to get the final push. It comes out on February 24th. So, possibility, I think we're going to see this one in the Direct. And of course, the first one did really well. So, well, they made a sequel out of it. So, anyway. Next up, Multiverses Switch port announcement. There were rumors about it coming to Switch. And of course, if you don't know what Multiverses is, think of it as Warner Brothers' version of Smash Brothers. And the game was off to a really big hit on all the consoles last year except for Switch. And the thing about Multiverses, it's a free-to-play game. So, you can play the game. The only thing you got to pay for is like a battle pass and all that. So, free-to-play, which is cool. And you get to battle with all your favorite characters from the Warner Brothers HBO family. Like Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, DC, a little bit of Game of Thrones, some Rick and Morty. So, just a couple of things that are in that game. So, I think it's likely we will get Multiverses announced for Switch. Or ported for Switch. That's my take. But again, it's rumors and speculations. And it's all rumors and speculations until they officially announce it. This next one, I believe they are going to officially announce one in the Direct. It's the Wave 4 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the expansion pass. Like last year, Nintendo's February Direct took surprise by announcing an expansion pass. And this pass includes, let's see, we're supposed to have like 8 waves with 6 tracks. Or no, 6 waves, 8 tracks, and then it's going to be like 2 years. And so it's supposed to be the end of this year is like the last of it. So they really need to step up. And a lot of the tracks we've seen have come from the Mario Kart Tour, which it's been doing iffy. But the thing is, you build these tracks for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you have a more reason for people to try out these courses. So, I think Wave 4 is going to get announced, and with the release date, shown off what's going to be announced in that. And then finally, this one's not likely. I think it's, I mean, you never know, but we could get a Star Fox, F-Zero, or Earthbound game, or some people are wanting a new Donkey Kong game, which, again, I just picked the latter of those three because those have been long dormant. There's not been any new games for those in quite some time. But knowing Nintendo, they're the kings of left field. So, you never know about that. I just thought of something that should have been, I could have done for the Nintendo GameCube for Switch Online. And I just remembered another headline I saw about a week ago is that they are working on a new Mario baseball game, which I'm excited about. I think we could get this one in the Nintendo Direct. In fact, let's go ahead. And again, it is time to do some live editing. And just like that, live editing right did it done. So, a Mario baseball game for Switch. I think it is likely for the last couple years in a row we have gotten a new Mario sports game. We got Mario Tennis Aces back in 2018. We got Mario Golf back in 2021. Last year we got Mario Strikers Battle League. Super Mario Strikers Battle League. I think we're going to get baseball this year. Well, I think. Or maybe next year. I don't know. But I think we are going to get a new Mario baseball game. They're saying it's in the works. I would be totally down with the new Mario baseball game. That has been one of my wants for a long time. And now I really hope it comes true. So anyway, a lot of news, rumblings, headlines, all the information you can find from social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you get your sources from. A lot of these new information stuff, I think it's all going to add up. Take all the information from the squares, take it all and add them up, and you get one big jammed-packed Nintendo Direct. So, and of course, when the Nintendo Direct officially becomes announced, I will not be live streaming because I imagine it's going to be a 4 o'clock time period for the for the presentation, and I will be at work during that time. So I'll do one of two options. I will either download the Direct and download a copy of it once it's done, download that, and then we can watch it live on the stream, or I can live stream from the archived version when it's done. So anyway, these are my picks and my predictions on what we'll see for the Nintendo Direct. As for the date, we don't know, but do keep an eye on, I'd say, Twitter. Twitter's always the first one to announce when's the Nintendo Direct or information taking place. And also, the time frame of when the announcement could be, it can either take place Monday morning at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or depending on your time schedule, which, thankfully, I kept a copy of that. Let's get rid of this music for a second. So, anyway, as you can see here on the map, your time zones, so they'll usually announce it. But for my time zone, I'm in the Central Time Zone, so it would be 8 a.m. my time, so it'd be Eastern, New York at 9 a.m. Mountain would be at 7, and Pacific would be at 6 a.m. So this is your time map of when, possibly if the Nintendo Direct gets announced. So anyway, since my time zone is Central, and usually about 8 a.m. is when they'll announce it for with a Wednesday at 4 o'clock intention. It's a little over a day, and it kind of gets the people speculating what we could see in this Direct. However, it could also be for Tuesday. So you also got to keep Tuesday in mind as well. That same time frame, about 4 p.m. But I honestly want to lean towards Wednesday. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's after the after that investors meeting. Remember that investors meeting I was telling you about at the beginning of the stream? Having it after the investors meeting makes it, I think it's a really good call on that. I think it's just that day for them to, February 7th is that day for them to discuss, like, all right, here's what we got, here's what we're going for this year, let's go for it. And then, or here's what we got here, and then we could get the Direct on the Wednesday the 8th. And of course, they tape the Directs ahead of time too. They film the Direct, they edit it together, and they present it all in a big live stream event. So, if we, like I said earlier, the insiders are calling for February 6th, the week of February 6th, to have a Nintendo Direct. If that's the case, then Wednesday the 8th would be the most likely. I would say the most likely. But if not, then I would have to go with February 15th. It would be after the Super Bowl and also be after that investors call. So, no, I presented you guys with a lot of information, but lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. And of course, I'm not a super reliable source, but I do read a lot of articles, and I do keep up with the headlines. So just also remember, when you're talking about Nintendo Directs and information about Nintendo Switch titles, headlines, everything like that, always be sure to take it with a grain of salt. Be sure to do that, because if you don't, then you're just going to get disappointed. Just be like, okay, just take what you can get, hype responsibly. So be sure you guys do that. Hype responsibly. So, anyway, I feel pretty good about these picks. I feel pretty good about them. I hope to get at least one bingo. I hope for one bingo. And, yeah, I feel pretty good about these picks. Just kind of thinking through, like, let's focus on a little more on what Nintendo has announced, what's coming, and what's already been announced, than making wild picks out of nowhere. So, anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Oh, hang on. Gosh, I'm not. I know what I did. Sorry. I muted it because I wanted to focus on that thing, and I forgot. Oh yeah, I switched it to this channel and that. So anyway, you have to forgive me for my technical issues. So anyway, that's gonna do it for me tonight, guys. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, whether you're watching now, live, or during the replay. If you guys wish to see this video and all of my others, feel free to do so. Hit me up on all the platforms. So on Twitter at WillYork_23. Twitch, Tuxedo28, and YouTube, Will York. You guys can also hit me up on Discord, and I'm also on Facebook through 4State Gamers. You can also add me on Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and Epic Game Store. You can also add me on Nintendo 3DS as well. Don't forget, the 3DS and Wii U shops are closing in a little over a month, so get your games now. Once they're shut down, you can't go and get them anymore. Go and get your games now. Don't make me repeat myself. Now. So, anyway, this is where you guys can find me on all the platforms, everything you want to know, all the fun stuff. Feel free to like, hit, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff. So, that's gonna do it for me tonight, guys. I want to thank you guys. I should probably say goodbye before I lose my voice. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I hope to see you guys on the flip side. Hopefully we'll get a Nintendo Direct very, very soon. And then when that happens, I will be here on the stream, on the channels, streaming for you guys, delayed reaction only. So it's not going to be exactly 4 o'clock. It's going to be either later that night or maybe another night. So we'll do that. I will do a delayed reaction for you guys as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys have a great, wonderful evening. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one, guys.